Guards making their way towards the south. Oh yeah, I was talking about how the PTRS is so good against infantry now. PTRS is so good against infantry now. You have to be really careful with that thing. I think those Panzer Fusiliers just got suppressed by his own flak burst right there. Whoops. Probably because of that cover. The placement of that cover actually caused some of the flak bursts to... Alright, thank you so much, Icemans, again, for your generous donation. That's the second time in like 2 days. You're really making it rain. I will absolutely fascinate your replay. I'll get that one done next. Thank you for your donation. Guards setting up on the fuel point over here. Penal Battalion making their way up to the victory point. Flamethrower on that Rakettenwerfer, that's going to be forced to retreat. Paul setting up here in the center. Panzer Fusiliers pushing away the conscript squad. This Panzer Fusilier squad chasing away that field gun, but they've fallen too low. They have to give up the chase. He wanted to decrew that, but he's satisfied with the amount of screening he has managed to do. Flak half-track needs to screen away the guards, while this Panzer Fusilier squad needs to clear the AT gun, but he doesn't have enough firepower. And that flak half-track barely survives that engagement. One more PTRS shot, I think, was going to seal that. Fusiliers are losing at range against the DP upgraded guards. Flamethrower charging into close range, but reinforcements from these Volksgrenadiers are on the way. Fusilier squad has to retreat. And Paul's going to make a full retreat. He doesn't like this engagement, I guess. He doesn't have to retreat far. He has set up his forward retreat point now. He's also got the repairs for the flak half-track. This is pretty much going to be his forward staging point for all operations back towards the center of the map. He clearly really wants to get that munitions point back under control, but he's struggling against those guards. Up to 8 kills, 9 kills on that squad already. Barely even hit the field with those things. Already doing better than this Penal Battalion. I'm about to catch up with this Penal Battalion. Will be forced to retreat from the right side after falling low to Panzer Fusiliers, retreating through this way. Heavy mortars on the field now. This is just asking to get nailed by that heavy mortar. He definitely needs to spread out and try and stagger his retreats to avoid mass casualties if possible. Combat engineers will be forced to retreat. I don't think they're getting home. Not even close. They get blobbed. Rakettenwerfer making his way towards the south to get that territory under control. Heavy mortar almost nails the blob, but it's slightly off target and it's going to split off a little bit. Volksgrenadier taking control of the victory point right there, and a spare squad of Fusiliers being sent to the north will be forced to retreat from those 3 squads of infantry. Nice grenade! No dodge on that grenade. That could be a squad wipe. Oh, so close! There it is. Nice pickup by Paul with the grenade, plus beautiful play by the flak half-track moving up to seal the deal. Flak half-track needs to pull back out of that field gun's arc of fire. It's almost Vet 2. It's landed that many shots against that flak half-track that it's getting a lot of veterancy. DP machine gun bursts bring that Panzer Fusilier squad low. They definitely need to retreat. And there they go. Rakettenwerfer is a pretty good harassment unit if the territory is completely undefended and there are no vehicles on the field for you to fight against. That's got no other real job to do now that the M3 has been destroyed, so pretty good unit to send back capping.
The sector is at risk. Infantry shooting at us.
Uh-oh, that's going to be a squad wipe, I think, if they don't move. Oh, what are they doing? Almost. I think they'll get home. Their retreat path is not compromised, but that flamethrower squad probably not going to be so lucky. There they go. Flamethrower squad wiped. Conscript squad gets away by a hair. This building is on the verge of collapse, and those guard rifles are just tearing Paul's infantry apart in this red cover. Fortunately, with only 3 south-facing windows, their damage output is somewhat limited. He takes control. He decaps the munitions point before making a retreat back towards his forward HQ. And as Rakettenwerfer will finally get pushed away by a lone squad of Penal Battalion there in the south. Flak half-track is on its way to counter down here. Meanwhile, a single squad harassing the north is going to try and get the fuel and victory points under control. And this field gun is going to try and get the munitions back. These two squads moving to harass in the south a little bit, try and get the victory point here under control, turn the clock back in Paul's favor. He's way behind, 150 to 480. Paul just can't get any map control. Grenade toss on those Penal Battalion. On this Penal Battalion may turn the engagement for Paul. I don't know. Penal Battalion will retreat before Paul. But it was pretty close. Pretty close engagement. Heavy mortar falling on the church will convince those Panzer Fusiliers to retreat. Ooh, flak half-track burst here in the center is bringing that conscript squad low, and I think he's just going to go for it on the AT gun rather than repositioning, and he is successful. AT gun is cleared, and the flak half-track is going to pull to safety. Mark a vehicle on the flak half-track. That was a weird decision. I don't think that the field gun will one-shot the flak half-track with marked vehicles, so that probably doesn't do anything. Unless it takes a couple PTRS hits or something, that probably made no real difference, and it's just a bunch of munitions down the drain. Heavy mortar hasn't done that much. Paul doing a good job of managing the threat that poses by keeping his infantry constantly on the move and never sticking by his battle group headquarters for too long, and by staggering his retreats. Ever since it hit the field, notice that his infantry movements have been a lot more staggered, and that's a very good practice to employ when there's a heavy mortar on the field. If you mass retreat all your squads simultaneously, there's an extremely good chance that one stray mortar will just blast you and get like 10 kills, so definitely a good thing to do. He does manage to steal the field gun in the course of that engagement once he was done clearing it out with the flak half-track, which is up to 24 kills, Vet 2, making really good use of that unit. Keeping that alive. Notice that every time it's fallen pretty low health, Paul has been very on point about getting that out of danger very quickly. You only have to leave that out of position for a very short time for that to get taken out. T-34-85s are on the field, and the very first thing they will do is go wipe this Rakettenwerfer here in the south. Rakettenwerfer probably going to get stolen or destroyed by these guards. Ooh, but in exchange, a Penal Battalion gets wiped in the center. Nice play by the flak half-track and Volksgrenadiers right there. Oh, there's a heavy mortar hit from hell. Oh no. Meanwhile, destroyed engine on his SWS, and that's going to be taken out. I don't know if Paul was hoping to maybe get tier 4 up and go for King Tiger or what, but whatever his plan was with that unit, it's not going to happen now. Wow. Look at these wipes. Full squad of Panzer Fusiliers just got wrecked trying to get inside that church. Jagdpanzer on the field to try and counter the T-34-85s. Lots of Paul's infantry going down left and right here. Those T-34-85s smashing into this battlefield, and Paul takes a huge wipe from the heavy mortar. Takes a huge wipe from the 85s on the Fusilier squad. He loses a Rakettenwerfer. So 3 squads of Paul's just die within the space of 1 minute. Once those T-34-85s hit the field, it will rob him of one of his Panzerschrecks. I don't know what that T-34 is doing, though. It needs to pull back to safety. Mark vehicle on this Jagdpanzer, but it's going to chase. Getting aggressive despite marked vehicle, making this kind of a dangerous move. Another Penal Battalion just got wiped by the flak half-track in the back, which was not being monitored. Clumsy loss of that Penal Battalion by the flak half-track. Volksgrenadier squad is trying to get control of the center munitions point, and notice that Paul has harassed the entire north throughout the course of these engagements. Nice harassment, getting that territory under his control. He still holds the south. He has stopped the victory point clock, but he has a long way to go before he evens those out, and I think another set of T-34-85s is definitely going to make it onto this battlefield. Paul has no way to really hunt down and kill this one. There's a stolen Rakettenwerfer on the field. We don't have any conscript. Yes, we do. 1 squad of conscripts on the field, but no anti-tank grenade research yet. He definitely needs to throw that up to give him a way to damage that Jagdpanzer's engine. Damaging its engine is the best way to kill it with a medium tank swarm. Otherwise, it can prove very difficult to get behind. Heavy mortar firing on these infantry. Wow. Those guards brought that Panzer Fusilier squad down so quick. And I would say Paul brought the exact number of squads to this engagement that he needed, because he had to retreat 2 squads at low health before he was even able to drop 1 guard model. In fact, he loses the engagement. And he threw a grenade and only managed to kill 2 guards. Those guards in green cover are so strong. Have Vet 3 with the PTRS and DP machine guns. They win an engagement against Panzer Fusiliers and 2 Volksgrenadier squads. And Paul threw a grenade, so that was pretty poor engagement for Paul right there. Dedicated 3 squads of infantry just to try and get this fuel point back from 1 squad of guards and couldn't make it happen. Jagdpanzer, fully repaired. Panzer Fusiliers taking control of the center munitions. Stern Pioneers working on this point. And it's tough as OKW to deal with Vet 3 guards, because other than infantry and light vehicles, you don't have a lot of really strong, hard-hitting anti-infantry counters until the King Tiger arrives, which is not exactly a viable thing to counter guards with for the first 30 minutes of the game. You just have to overwhelm them with superior numbers, and because they have such a high manpower cost associated with them, it can be done. 330 manpower to get one of those squads. You can try and wipe them before they get to Vet 3, of course. And there's always Obersoldaten or Fallschirmjäger. I try and use a squad of Fallschirmjäger, personally. You have to keep your Fallschirmjäger's veterancy above the Guard Rifle's veterancy, though, and that may not always be easy. Tier 4 under construction here in the south. It looks like that's going to complete before the guards can spot that and take it out. Narrowly. And Tier 4 structure should be able to push these guards away from the victory point. And there they go. Victory point will be maintained. Stern Pioneers nearby to heal the light damage that it took when the guards spotted it constructing. But the Soviet player still holds both victory points here in the north.
Guard rifle infantry squads can now be called to fight for the motherland.
There go those Sturms. I think. Oh no, they're still alive. Okay, phew. Thought the whole squad might have died right there. Sturm Pios are still alive. Need to reinforce that bleed. We're going to see overs produced to try and do something about those guards. Panzer Fusiliers working on the right side strategic point. They're going to move to the victory and strategic points next. Volksgrenadiers moving up to engage that heavy mortar. And there they go. Volksgrenadiers falling low to guards. The stolen Raketenwerfer is still available to screen against the Jagdpanzer, but mostly Paul just needs to make a play for the north victory points. He's going to fall down to 100 victory points left soon. And he needs to try to maybe get those sort of under his control before the next set of T-34s if he can. GoldenPath is going to have the resources for that second set within the next 3 minutes or so, 3 or 4 minutes, depending on manpower bleed. And if Paul can't secure an early advantage basically now, before those arrive, it's just going to get harder once the T-34 spam gets even stronger. Obersoldaten on the field from Paul. Hopefully he can utilize these in conjunction with his flak half-track to make a dent in this swarm of guard rifles. 3 squads of guards now on the field. Flak half-track is available to try and pin them down, but the Raketenwerfer is going to force him to pull back to safety. He's late to reposition here. Pop smoke just to be safe. He realizes his late reaction and pop smoke. Good usage of smoke there to save the flak half track just in time. Over's upgraded with an LMG, working on the Rakettenwerfer first. T-34-85 is going to take a shot, misses its shot. Over's trying to prevent that T-34 from firing on him by utilizing the house as a shot blocker. Get into close range on these conscripts. We'll probably be forced to retreat soon, though. Falling pretty low to these conscripts at short range, so they will be forced to retreat. Jagdpanzer moving up to screen against that T-34. And a side engagement between Guards and Volksgrenadiers will actually go to the Volksgrenadiers, holding onto that victory point for just a little while, so he will get the clock taking against his opponent for now. And Paul has decided to field a fresh squad of Panzer Fusiliers to give him a little bit more infantry. 6-man squad of infantry, so we have a little bit more durability. Volksgrenadiers move up to engage the T-34 right there. Gonna retreat. Maybe just not wanting to suffer too much manpower bleed if avoidable. His fuel is getting quite high, up to 180, so I think we're looking at King Tiger next, just spamming infantry for now until he gets the fuel he needs to get that King Tiger on the field, which is of course going to be a very powerful tool against his opponent's T-34s. Nice play by the field gun and Jagdpanzer. That T-34 stuck around on the front line for too long. Paul takes it down, which means that when the second set of T-34s arrives, he's only going to have 2 of them now instead of 3. It was kind of a clumsy loss by GoldenPath right there. Pretty inopportune timing as well, considering these are rolling onto the field right now. Oversold and exposed to the T-34s for a split second, but they will retreat just in time. He wanted to salvage that for a little fuel, try and get that King Tiger out just a little bit quicker, but he couldn't get that on the field in time, unfortunately. Panzer Fusiliers take the north fuel. The south fuel is in Paul's control as well. Vet 3 squad making their way to take that under their control. And up here in the north, Panzer Fusiliers are about to get pushed away by the T-34s, looking for opportunities where they can engage safely. Nice positioning by the Jagdpanzer. He senses the T-34s making their push for the north. Anti-tank rifle grenade on that one will damage the engine. Seals the engine damage with the Jagdpanzer shot right there. That won't be easy to repair with self-repair or anything like that without just further exposing it to harm. Meanwhile, Guards trying to go for the flank gets screened away by the flak half-track right there. Rakettenwerfer trying to move to engage the Jagd rather than the flak half-track. And that T-34 with the damaged engine will go down. The Rakettenwerfer's trying to get a line, but it's kind of floundering a little bit. This T-34 goes in on the flak half-track. The stolen field gun needs to be brought to bear against the T-34 if possible. It's about to take out the half-track here. Field gun is not rotated. And the flak half-track will go down. Probably not really anything he could have done to save that, but he could have probably traded if he had turned that field gun to fire a couple shots on that T-34 while it was exposed. But the Jagdpanzer moves around the flank to try and finish the job. Gonna try and reverse a little bit to give himself room against that T-34, using this house as a vision blocker against the Raketten. Here comes a ram! What's he doing? Oh! It penetrates! Oh, it penetrates and just damages the engine right there. Infantry cannot arrive to support in time. And the Jagdpanzer will go down to the suicidal ram maneuver, which I guess paid off. I guess it paid off. I think that Jagd probably could have gotten away without that. I think in that instance it was a good decision. Oh, heavy mortar wipes the Obersoldaten squad after they get laser beamed down by the infantry blob right here. Overs get wiped at Vet 1. And Jagdpanzer has been taken out as well, which means both sides down to infantry only for now. But the key difference is that Paul has only lost 1 tank, his Jagdpanzer. Well, and he lost the fuel investment of the flak half-track as well. But his opponent has lost 4 T-34-85s, which is a little bit over 500 fuel. In T-34's lost to that single Jagdpanzer, which is going to put Paul at a pretty significant fuel advantage. He's going for King Tiger next. He just needs to collect the manpower for it if he can stop bleeding. And I think once that King Tiger arrives, we're going to see the end of the game. Paul still has 94 victory points left with which to clean up all remaining Soviet forces. Although he does need to purchase a squad of Stern Pioneers for repairs and minesweeping. And it looks like his Tier 4 structure is going to go down any second.
We have an isolated sector. and targeted.
These swollen squads are dead! We have been
Guard
promoted!
rifle infantry squads are now available.
Panzer Fusiliers push away that squad of guards in the center. Stolen field gun using a high explosive barrage on the stolen Raketenwerfer. Oh, the irony. And Paul actually has a opportunity to salvage that T-34 now.
Establish our supply line.
Not that it matters. He's got the fuel, he just needs the manpower for the KT. Fuel is not a concern. He needs manpower not only for the King Tiger, but for the Sturm Pioneers.
Supply lines have been cut.
It's having a bit of trouble keeping this Tier 4 structure alive. It's on its last legs, screening away the heavy mortar with everything he has left. More guard rifles being thrown onto the battlefield by GoldenPath, who really has no choice but to make infantry, since he's not going to be able to get another set of T-34s onto this battlefield with his current economic situation. Cut off at every turn by Paul's aggressive maneuvering here outside the Soviet base. Guards will chase away another Volksgrenadier squad right there. With conscripts on their flank, they couldn't win even in green cover.
under infantry attack!
Panzer Fusiliers also being forced to retreat. Neither of these players has a whole lot of infantry left. King Tiger is in production, making its way to the front lines. Apparently Paul has had enough. Had enough with PTRSs. And there's the trash talk.
Enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Shoot back, comrades! Now this land belongs to the Soviet people. Things are getting hot here, comrades.
PTRS is sniping a couple Volksgrenadiers. They'll be forced to retreat as guards move up to defend the fuel and victory points. Paul losing VPs with only 3 infantry squads at his disposal against his opponent's 4 superior squads with so much veterancy. Paul's really struggling in engagements. He's got a little munitions to spare on maybe grenades, but with these few engagements happening on the battlefield, oh, that wasn't good. I was about to say a grenade is unlikely to connect, since his opponent would probably dodge, but apparently Paul was not monitoring that engagement.
The enemy has 75 points remaining. You appear suited for command.
I think the Tier 4 structure's finally gonna go down.
Territory is in our hands.
Just one PTRS shot or heavy mortar, and there it goes. It will no longer protect the South VP. The entire map has fallen back into GoldenPath's hands. Field gun trying to harass territory here in the south. These 2 squads wipe a squad of conscripts in the house. They jumped in that house and got wiped by some Panzerschreck shots, and the King Tiger took a shot. Yeah, King Tiger shot wipes the whole squad. PTRS is available right here, about to get caught by the King Tiger. Another huge hit.
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
No doubt about it, King Tiger still works just fine against PTRSs. May struggle to counter them with infantry, may struggle to counter them with light vehicles, but the King Tiger will definitely get the job done just fine every time. Down to now only 2 squads of infantry left for GoldenPath, and Paul will finally be freed up to get some territory back under his control. Volksgrenadiers working on the munitions here.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
King Tiger pretty much has total freedom to waltz right into the Soviet base. And apparently in the blizzard they can't see each other even though they're that close. Blizzard really restricts vision. I think it's not only the blizzard but also the heavy snow provides like camouflage or something. I hope I like that they removed the movement penalty from water. I hope they also remove it from heavy snow but keep it so that heavy snow like camos your units. That's kind of a cool mechanic. Then heavy snow would actually be good instead of just a horrible nightmare. But I guess then assault engineers and Sturm pilots wouldn't really have any particular advantage. Not that I really think they should have some advantage just arbitrarily anyway, but I don't know. I just don't like heavy snow. I hate everything that impedes movement in this game. I don't think it makes the game any more fun, personally. Paul has stopped the clock, taking control of that. North victory point's about to fall to that squad of guards. A squad definitely needs to be fielded to that victory point to make sure to get that capped and keep the clock ticking against the Soviet player. Paul only has 54 points to work with right now, and there's actually going to be another set of T-34s on the field kind of soon. King Tiger needs to wipe as much as it can before that T-34 arrives to inflict as much manpower bleed on his opponent as possible, so that when those T-34s do finally show up, he has to make the decision of 740 manpower on those or more infantry-based reinforcements. Rakettenwerfer getting wiped. These two field guns don't have a line. It's actually falling a little low. Needs to be careful. If he loses this, it'll be a catastrophic loss. He should be able to pull back just fine. And there's the first squad of Stern Pioneers on the field as well. So he should be able to get that repaired. King Tiger pulling back to safety now, and the clock is sort of ticking against Paul. He's about to get it stopped with this squad of Fusiliers here in the north, and he needs to get a squad onto the south victory point to make sure that clock stops and stays stopped. Stern Pioneers should be able to get the King Tiger repaired pretty quickly, especially if they upgrade with the Minesweeper upgrade for faster repairs, plus the Mechanized Regiment headquarters right there giving a boost. Should not take long to get that back to full at all. Volksgrenadiers moving up to engage right here. Panzer Fusiliers will retreat immediately on sight away from that squad of guards. That's going to lose him control of that victory point a little early. I don't know if Paul's going to be able to maintain victory point control. He needs to keep fielding stuff. Maybe another squad of Fusiliers to the point there. Maybe another something. I don't know. Just more guards. Just guards, AT guns, guards is proving a little bit difficult for Paul to handle. He's not even going to fully repair his King Tiger because he needs to get back into engagements with this thing and keep the manpower bleed going. Make sure that he never fields another set of T-34s. It looks like GoldenPath has given up on the idea of T-34s this game and is just going to try and seal it with victory point control, just utilizing his infantry. Paul needs to set up a really strong defense right here with a new Tier 4 structure, which I believe he's constructing right now. Once that's built, this victory point will be pretty safe. The heavy mortar, I think, was wiped, completely destroyed weapon. Yeah, heavy mortar's gone, so that's no longer a serious threat. If he can protect that from the field guns and use the King Tiger in the north a little bit, he should be able to get the map completely under his control and stop the victory point drain. Panzer Fusiliers and Volksgrenadiers take out the stolen Rakettenwerfer finally, after it was on the field for so long. Engagement up here is going to see Stern Pioneers taking heavy damage from those Vet 3 guards. Volksgrenadiers moving up on the flank. Sturm's trying to stall. He cannot afford to lose that squad, though. He really can't. I don't think he's going to. I think he can win this. Vet 5 Volksgrenadiers aren't not the beasts they used to be, but there's... Ooh, he gets a lucky Panzerschreck snipe, and it turns the engagement in his favor. Should be fine. Meanwhile, Field Gun moving up to get territory under control here. These squads taking control of the strategic point immediately outside the Soviet base, and Paul seems to have a pretty comfortable containment going. He clearly wants to get that King Tiger repaired more, just in case of more T-34s, just in case of some lucky field gun shots. He's pretty safe, though. King Tiger's at about half. That's going to get repaired. No T-34s coming if he can maintain this containment. Very far away manpower-wise. Pretty far away fuel-wise at the current income he's got. He's going to try and bolster that a little with the strategic points right here, but Volksgrenadiers are taking control of the fuel and victory points there in the north, and it's looking more and more like GoldenPath isn't going to be able to get the last 29 victory points off the board. Volksgrenadiers working on that fuel point. Most of the guard rifles are making their way towards the north.
Now this land belongs to the Soviet people.
Folks Grenadiers retreating to safety. These two squads moving up to engage that field gun. They just caught it in red cover. That's a lot of G43s upgraded by Paul, who feels the need to provide himself with a lot more anti-infantry firepower. He's going to move up into green cover here. GoldenPath is getting control of one victory point right there, but the King Tiger catches that Vet 3 squad out of position. One more shot as he rounds the corner could wipe it. Looks like it got to safety just in time. The King Tiger at full health should be able to take on these AT guns even frontally. Maybe, I don't know. Paul doesn't look like he wants to risk it. That shot at range didn't connect that well. Field gun takes one more shot. Both of them bounce. Volley is not successful. It looks like GoldenPath may get the clock ticking against Paul again. Two squads of guards moving to engage. One squad of Folks Grenadiers. Most of Paul's forces tied up here in the center after trying to maintain the containment and not really succeeding. With GoldenPath having 200 victory points left, it looks like he will actually get another set of T-34s on the field. I wasn't sure, but he's managed it. He has managed it. He's definitely got time. That last final set of tanks is pretty much going to be GoldenPath's last opportunity. If his push with those tanks succeeds, he will probably be able to get those last victory points off the board, and if it fails, Paul will probably take full control of the map and win the game. It's going to come down to the usage of the King Tiger. It's going to come down to the usage of those tanks. Could come down to harassment of the south victory point. Full squad of guards just got wiped, though, by Panzer Fusiliers right there. Didn't even dodge that grenade that he just tossed, I don't think. That squad wipe is going to cost him. He needs all those infantry squads. He better not lose this one, too. That would be catastrophic. What is he doing? That was a kind of a late retreat, but I think he'll get away. Maybe. I don't know. I think he might have to retreat through the King Tiger. Both field guns have been wiped. Oh my goodness. He just lost the game, I'm pretty sure. Huge mistakes. Huge mistakes all across the map. Right before his next set of T-34s was about to get called in. That was the least opportune moment to lose everything he had I could even think of. He rushed that push a little. He rushed that push, and now his tanks are going to be completely unsupported. He had a shot at winning this game. Now I think he blew it.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
The territory is in our hands.
A sector has been cut off. We need to reestablish our
T-34 gets a big hit on that Folks Grenadier squad. That's got to retreat. Looks like it should get to safety. Panzer Fusiliers standing in cover behind this T-34 wreck. Should be able to defend this victory point. There's really not very much left on the field. Just a guard squad and two T-34s. A couple squads of infantry is going to retreat and reinforce here by the battle group headquarters. King Tiger moves up to head the T-34s off and gets a couple big hits on that one. This one over here on the right side engaging. Fusiliers may take engine damage. No, it disappeared into thin air. Because for some reason, Panzer Fusilier AT grenades have a maximum travel distance.
The sector is at risk. T-34 85 tanks are now ready
These
for
two
use.
squads reinforcing here by the battle group headquarters. Panzer Fusiliers moving into short range on these guards, and it doesn't look like GoldenPath is going to be able to get any territory under his control against that King Tiger. He just lost way too much stuff before his final push, and now he's lost everything, effectively.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
And I think he could have won if he had preserved his army better.
The enemy has cut off a sector.
Wow, King Tiger has 60 kills. That's a lot of dead guards.
We have a DP-28. Give us a target.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
Well, this is GoldenPath's last chance. I don't know what he's going to do. King Tiger rotating towards the north since there are 2 victory points to defend up there. T-34 is rotating towards the south since he
100 points.
probably senses that that's where the victory point is least defended.
The tank gun is ready for action.
He really has no way of killing this thing. It's Vet 2 and has an armor bonus now, making it even harder for his tanks to tank on. Stolen field gun and Volksgrenadier squad deal heavy damage to that T-34. It's got to pull back to safety, but the field gun snipes it at max range.
Vehicle has been lost in the defense.
The other one's kind of getting stuck on the brush here, and I'm pretty sure this is GG.
You are showing weakness.
And there it is. Playback over.
5 points.
Paul will win. Oh, Paul says I'm wrong about the King Tiger armor bonus. What's the Vet 2 bonus on a King Tiger? Oh, it just says... I thought King Tiger got an armor bonus. Oh, I'm wrong. Just faster turret rotation and accuracy, I guess? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I feel like GoldenPath had this game until he kind of let it slip through his fingers there towards the end. Even once the King Tiger arrived, kind of made some mistakes. And, there was a point where Paul had only 1 Jagdpanzer and was being forced to battle 4 T-34-85s with nothing but a Jagdpanzer. Paul managed the threat very effectively. This game is just one great example of how important it is to maintain control of your team weapons. This stolen field gun had a really dramatic impact on the game. And similarly, Paul's stolen Raketenwerfer had a really dramatic impact on the game. It's very important to maintain control of team weapons. So we saw some pretty interesting examples of that this game. Tank preservation every game. This game is no exception. It's so important to try to engage as cost effectively as you can with your tanks. And at the very end of things, GoldenPath just kind of fumbled. Didn't make a coordinated push. Didn't remain calm and patient with his 200 victory points left in the bank. He could have made something happen, but he just got a little scatterbrained. All of his units died, and then and then that was it. So good game. Paul wins.
You need something demolished?
Welcome to a 1v1 on Koludny Ferma Winter. This game is going to be Paul versus GoldenPath. Paul playing as Oberkommando West in the east, and GoldenPath playing as Soviets in the west. Insta-locking guard motor coordination. Interesting decision. Apparently he's going to be playing around the freshly buffed PTRS guards this game. And Paul fielding fortifications, breakthrough, and Luftwaffe ground forces. You know, I'm seeing Luftwaffe pop up a lot more
Fresh conscripts have arrived.
lately. It seems popular. I don't know. I mean, both it and fortifications have access to the MG34. I feel like Fallschirmjäger are kind of like a faux Ober replacement now. They're still not quite as cost effective as Obersoldaten for their manpower cost, but it is nice that you can get them on the field without spending that 80 fuel on the tier 4 structure if you feel like Obers aren't really worth teching up to anymore.
We built it as ordered.
I think I could see Fallschirmjäger. The thing is, Fallschirmjäger are so expensive to reinforce that it can be very hard to maintain an army of more than 1 squad of them. I personally have been practicing a lot with Oberkommando West lately at night when I'm not casting. And I really like Luftwaffe myself. I've been trying to make it work. And I seem to have the most success personally when I field a single squad of Fallschirmjäger and just try and vet up that 1 squad and get it as strong as I can. If you can get that squad up to vet 5, they'll just shred through Soviet or US infantry so quick. So it can be a useful tool. Not to mention, of course, airborne assault. Airborne assault is a really nice thing to have, to get those free troops on the field, not to mention the suppression and all of that. GoldenPath is going to go with extra combat engineer in his opening, as well as 2 conscript squads.
Objective secured.
And Volksgrenadiers are going to take control of the strategic point right here,
Soviet backs.
and the victory point there in the north.
What are
Conscripts making their way across to take control of the strategic point there. They're going to be engaged by Sturmpios. Sturms are, of course, not burdened by heavy snow. Conscripts are. But those conscripts get a really nice volley on the stern piles right there before the engagement even really begins, and they'll simply retreat immediately, not wanting to take any further bleed. So the engagement goes kind of poorly for Paul right there. Couldn't quite set up an ambush against that squad. GoldenPath continues to harass Paul's cutoff here in the south. Paul kind of focusing most efforts here in the north, those stern pioneers. He still has this fuel under his control. He's now working on the south, but he's going to have to charge into short range against these conscripts across the red cover road. But it looks like the engagement's going pretty well for Paul. Conscripts are going to be forced to retreat right there. There they go. Combat engineers moving to take control of various stuff here in the south. Paul sends one of his Volksgrenadier squads straight for the house here. Try and maintain an aggressive position right there, and he might wipe that squad really early. There it is. Nice pickup by Paul really early in the game. Nice pickup by Paul. Takes out that conscript squad on retreat, and he's off to a pretty good start. And meanwhile, we've got a fake tier 2 into tier 1, which is going to give GoldenPath access to the M3. But Paul has already gone Mechanized Regiment headquarters, so that might struggle a little bit once the flak half track hits the field. Gonna be a little while though before Paul can get that out.
You need something built?
Our territory is falling into enemy hands.
Stern piles catch those combat engineers on retreat, but they give up the chase to go get this territory under control. Instead, scout car with the flamethrower penal battalion inside right there is going to chase away that Volksgrenadier squad in the north, circling around, chase away this Volksgrenadier squad too. He wants to stick around and get that munitions decapped. Kind of risky. He will retreat once he succeeds in doing that. There he goes.
Penal troops are standing by.
Engineer standing by.
Volksgrenadiers taking control of the south fuel, while Penal Battalion is taking control of the center strategic point there, so Paul will be cut off from the south. He's going to retreat that squad preemptively before the M3 moves to head him off. Retreated just in time. If he had waited any longer, I'm not sure this squad would have gotten away. I'm not even sure it's going to get away now. It looks like it's going to, unless he takes a really nasty crit. Rakettenwerfer moving up. Won't get the shot off, though. He needed to angle that a little bit further to the south. Paul really needs to get his cutoff back under control, but fortunately he has collected enough fuel for his flak half-track before getting too aggressively contained here at his cutoff. Soviet player is going to take control of the entire north with conscripts and a fresh penal battalion grabbing the munitions in the center, putting Paul in a pretty weak position for resources right now. Moving to take back control of his cutoff with the flak half-track on the field, he should be able to get some map control back if he can make plays against the M3 and start pushing these Soviet squads off the battlefield.
You need engineers?
I think Paul caught that mine getting planted right there.
We are finished here.
Combat engineers retreating. Paul's gonna hit that mine. Takes out 3 Volksgrenadiers. Penal Battalion continues to hover in this general area. Paul's stern pios take up a position inside the church. Rakettenwerfer on the field is making its way towards the center to support the flak half-track as well. Wounded Volksgrenadiers retreating to get some healing done. No, nice positioning on the Rakettenwerfer right there. Oh, jeez. Shot hits the ground. Nice attempt. M3 will pull back to safety. Volksgrenadiers setting up on the point, trying to slow down the victory point clock. Panzer Fusilier squad making his way to the north to take control of that strategic point right there. Stern Pioneers moving towards the south to take the fuel. And the M3, or flak half-track, is setting up in the center to engage combat engineers in that house. M3 moving up on the Rakettenwerfer, catches it a little bit out of position. This flak half-track is not available to screen. But the M3 is not going to chase, or at least not along the retreat path, but instead head towards the south to work on the stern pios next. No mine from Paul. Kind of dangerous to dive straight into stern pios, though. You never know where they might have thrown a mine down. The shoe mine does instantly destroy the M3, even at full health. Wow, those stern pios doing good in this engagement. They're just standing there. They're kind of risk getting wiped. I don't know how this engagement's gonna end. He has to retreat. Flak half-track shows up. He was setting it up on the move, used an attack move to try and set it up and save those stern pios, hopefully get away in that smoke screen. But the stern pio squad is wiped, unfortunately. Penal Battalion will get away, but the scout car is destroyed. Paul might be able to send a squad to salvage that later. Meanwhile, in the north, conscripts engaging. Fusiliers trying to take control of this fuel point up here. Volksgrenadiers taking control of the center munitions. They'll get that under control before retreating, and the flak half-track's going to move up here to support and engage in the center. Panzer Fusiliers setting up in green cover behind this tractor. Fusiliers taking control of the fuel point right there. Volksgrenadiers in red cover right here. I don't know why they're standing in red cover. They need to get in green cover or retreat. Now they're falling low. PTRS guards on the field now. Probably going to be upgrading those with DPs. Upgrades already in progress. Will complete. I really hate the UI for guards, DP machine guns. You can't tell if they purchased the upgrade or not. You can't, I guess, it's not that easy to tell on penal battalions either from here, but they at least have the icon underneath their portrait. Volksgrenadiers have a little check mark on their thing. I don't understand, I don't get that. It's kind of hard to tell if they have DP machine guns or not without looking really closely at the squad. Volksgrenadiers here in the south, engaging these combat engineers. They're going to be forced to retreat. Volksgrenadiers might salvage that M3 while they've got a chance down here. There they go. Get a little bit of extra fuel. Tier 2 constructed here by the cutoff. Panzer Fusiliers forced to retreat right there. And the flak half-track wants to move up a little bit. Can't get too aggressive with this field gun available now if that flak half-track exposes itself for too long. Could be in danger. That shot will connect. Paul's going to pull back to safety for some repairs. Guards taking control of the fuel point here in the north. Volksgrenadiers engaging a penal battalion. What is this maneuver? That penal battalion split in half so weirdly right there. Can't tell who's winning this engagement. It's pretty close. None of the Volksgrenadier models have dropped yet. There goes one. Paul's going to retreat. It's kind of a close engagement, but his retreat path is also compromised. I think he'll get away. Barely. Paul does not have the forward retreat point unlocked on his battle group headquarters, so he's going to be retreating fully for a while. Panzer Fusiliers taking control of the house right here. Going to chase away that flamethrower squad. Raketenwerfer retreating right there. Volksgrenadiers also retreating. A couple of squads need to retreat there in the base. They should be okay. Volksgrenadiers engaging these guards at point blank range. Guards will probably win if they would hold still and fire their PTRSs. There they go. Nailed those Volksgrenadiers. They really need to get out of there. Those PTRSs are shredding the squad so quick. There's another series of PTRS hits. I don't think he's going to get away. Nailed on retreat by another PTRS shot. Pretty quick rate of fire, and if all the shots connect like they did in that engagement, that squad just goes down so fast. You really need to monitor those engagements carefully to see if the PTRS shots are connecting or not, because those will pretty much be what decides the engagement, and they'll decide it quite quickly. And that new anti-infantry PTRS is no joke. That is a serious weapon. Rotating into green cover to push away another squad of Volksgrenadiers right there. They do cut off all Soviet resources here in the north. Flak half-track sets up here to fire on conscripts in the house.